Hey guys, and welcome back to another Cultured Boys discussion. I'm Pepe, and I'm joined by Nathan. And today we're doing another manga review.
Woo! Yay!
Yes, we're back at it again. And this week we are reviewing a series called Kindergarten Wars.
Yes.
Right. How are you, Nathan? Before we get into this, are you well?
I'm good. Albeit a little bit tired from IRL things. But is what it is.
Yeah, life it gets to you.
I mean, I won't get into it. Pepe knows. We hung out
Yeah.
this weekend, so a bit
Yeah.
tired.
Woo!
But not too tired to bring you your episode.
Yes, exactly. So, Kindergarten Wars. Do you want to give a little rundown of what it is, Nathan, before we jump into the
Yeah,
little review
sure.
and that?
So, Kindergarten Wars or Yochien Wars, written and illustrated by Yu Chiba, published in Shonen Jump Plus on the 15th of September 2022. So fairly new. As of time of recording, it's 42 chapters at the moment, but one is coming on Wednesday, so 42, 43. And the story takes place in Kindergarten Noir, as known as the world's safest kindergarten, hosting the children of politicians, celebrities, businessmen, and other VIPs. Kindergarten Noir prevents them from would be assassins and kidnappers by employing former criminals as teachers in exchange for reduced sentences. Rita, also known as Convict 999, is a former assassin who finds herself working at Kindergarten Noir both to get a reduced sentence by acting as a bodyguard and to find a hot guy along the way.
Thank you, Nathan. Very, very well read out.
Thank you.
But yes, this series, it's like I've read 10 chapters of it.
I read
You've
two.
read two. Yes. So, what are your like initial thoughts on this? Like, because I think judging from the cover, I assumed it would be like a comedy straight off the bat.
Same.
Like, yeah. Were you kind of surprised that like it has like little undertones of like kind of action series in there? Like, or like, how did you feel
I
when you
was and I
first?
wasn't.
Yeah.
I was expecting some sort of action based off of the title,
Hmm.
but I wasn't expecting it to be that. Obviously,
Yes.
with Kindergarten Wars and the cover image, I thought it was going to be maybe two classes battling, like a weird
Hmm.
rivalry in a world where like
Yeah.
you're training little kids to be the next soldier or something, right?
Hmm.
Something like that, almost like an assassination classroom, but with two classes
Hmm.
instead of one.
Yeah.
Or it was like a kindergarten versus another one, and it was like imaginary war, so it's
Hmm.
like the teachers get
Yeah.
involved in stuff and they know what's really going on, and you would see what's reality through the teacher's eyes. But for the little kids, it's almost like actual war, like they're imagining helmets and little guns and things. Like that's what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a
Mm,
funny little gag series like that. Um,
mm.
but it pleasantly surprised me in that I wasn't expecting this comedy aspect.
No, I think it's one thing I thought of like immediately after I finished the first couple of chapters, at least. I thought this is very Sakamoto Days s kind of like
Yes,
series.
exactly
That
that.
if I was going to compare it to anything, it's definitely that. And that is a good thing as well. Sakamoto Days is like one like the hottest up and coming mangas right now. It's been out for like God, like 2 years now,
Yeah, it's
and it's like
amazing.
quickly
So
become everyone's favorite. Like it's huge. This is very similar. This is a very similar line to that kind of series. You're right. I didn't expect it to have as much gore as it does in it.
yeah,
Not
it's
it,
really
like
surprising, isn't it?
it's not like the goriest series. It's not like a silent or anything, but like it's a lot more blood in it, and like but it's comical again. Like it's not like it's that's why I liken it to Sakamoto Days because it is comical, but it has those like bloody assassin moments as well.
Yeah. I really love the art style of this, though. Like it's exactly what I feel like we said we loved before. I don't remember when we would have said it. We've done a lot of these by this point.
Yeah.
But like it's the sort of like One Punch Man where it's like it can be very simple and look goofy and weird, and they've got like those funny expressions and whatever. And then there's like the hyper, artistic and detailed parts where you're just like, what the heck is that? And it like
Yeah,
the switch in art style really plays in the switch in tone as well.
absolutely.
But I just love that art style, man. I wish I want to be able to draw in that art style. I swear it's so good.
It does, like it's like you said, it's a shift in tone with it. It's like the comedy parts are clearly comedy. Like you see Rita's expression, like it's very basic when it comes to those comedy
Yeah.
parts. And then it's like when it comes down to like literally the battles and like, oh, like crap, she's gonna kill someone. Like you do notice that that shift in tone where it becomes a lot darker. Like even like the outside of the panels goes black
Yeah. I was
and
gonna say
stuff,
like
like,
it
so it
literally gets
switches.
dark. Like
Yeah, it does it really well, and, like, it kinda, like it's one of those things that I feel a lot of the series are coming through with these days, where it does comedy really well, but also the action, like, again, like Sakamoto Days, and sort of very similar to Spy Family as well. Like, those
I'd have to take
series
your
which
word on
are
that one.
yeah. I've recommended this to you countless times, Nathan,
I know. We'll get there when we get there.
yeah. But like that it's those like shifting tones where like it does comedy so well, but like yeah, like the shift in tone. Like that's the main takeaway from this series for me. It's the shift in tone with this. The comedy's really good.
It's super
And
strong. Super,
yeah.
super strong. Like, like when Rita's interacting with someone from the school, just it's just the way you go from like killed a person, stopped an assassination to like haha, hi little kids. Oh,
Yeah.
my love life. Oh my god.
Yeah. I think like it's one of those ones where like I always find it like the love life tropes and characters quite played out. But I tell you what, it is a little bit refreshing to see it from a female point of view. It's
Yeah.
like I don't like because obviously with that whole oh my love life, I fall in love with every single person that I meet. It often comes through with a male character, and
Yeah.
like, it kind of feels like that is why I find it a bit played out. However, like, it doesn't feel as bad with Rita. I mean, again, it is very heavy in this series. This isn't like this is like, oh, it's said once and done. No, like
No, it's
Rita's
like
one
all
of
the
Rita's
time.
main characteristics is
Yeah.
she needs to find a boyfriend. And that is laid out from the get-go as well. It's like it's not like they hide that away or it's like subtle or it's like they don't mention it. It is literally from the first page
Yep.
that you see what Rita's objective is. And obviously you come through with this these other things as well. But like you said before, like a couple minutes ago, uh I I didn't expect it to be like this. When if it were like kindergarten wars, like you said, I thought it was gonna be like the kids like you said, at war with each
Yeah.
other, like class wars, like a summer festival kind of vibe where
Yeah,
like
exactly.
it does, but this series rarely ever focuses on the kids. And well, I'm up to chapter 10, and like there hasn't been a solid focus on any of the kids' storylines at all. Like, there's like a little mission here and there, like, oh yeah, like this assassin's been sent over to take out this one kid, but the story never revolves around that kid. It revolves around the teachers and the assassin that's involved. That's the only thing that
I
really
guess that
gets
makes sense
mentioned.
though,
Mm.
considering I mean like the kid is only important as a story device rather than a character.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I
plus
mean,
they're in
sometimes
kindergarten, so what interesting thing could happen for a kindergarten kid, regardless of if their parents are rich and they're super important. A little kid's a little kid, you know what I mean?
it
Like
depends. It depends on the series because I think that's what kind of plays through in Spy Family though, because of like the character Anya, like she's adopted into Lloyd's family and she goes to school and like she's like probably like about 5 or 6, I think. I don't exactly know what Anya's age is, but you see the kids around her and like the troubles that they have, and she's in that rich background as well. So this is why I'm kind
fair.
of comparing it a little bit. So those kids actually have backstories. So, but that is because Spy Family revolves around the main
Yeah.
family itself, Anya, Lloyd,
I
and
guess that's
Yor.
different.
Yeah, like this literally focuses on the teachers more than the student, and it's the setting rather than the actual kid characters
Yeah.
themselves. Another way I want to liken it to Sakamoto Days is the fact that they bring in characters as well. Like obviously you haven't got this far like
Yeah.
into it because it's only first 2 chapters, but I think it's the third chapter where they introduced a male character on the cover. I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
is
yeah. That was well, it's kind of like at the end of chapter 2-ish,
yeah,
kind of. But like
yeah,
yeah, pretty much. That's when his first introduction is. So I don't know much
yeah.
about him yet.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah.
just a little bit of context for because it's 2 chapters in, 3 chapters in, but the character's name is Doug, and he is a swindler. So, he's like a
Ah.
pickpocket kind of thing, and when people aren't looking, he's the one that basically steals all their stuff sometimes. So that's like his main goal. So obviously this kindergarten is also full of criminals. So, like, in terms of the teachers are criminals,
Well, like,
obviously, so you
yeah,
get
the teachers are like they say criminals, but like from what I
mm,
understand, even from the small amount I've read, is that the
mhm.
teachers are supposed to be like pretty bad criminals, like top tier people, like
Yeah.
top tier wanted criminals. It's not like it's just like some average pickpocket off the street. He's probably like
You're so
the
right.
best pickpocket in the area or the country or whatever. That's what, because I just wanted to clarify, because like by saying, "Oh, he's a swindler, he's a pickpocket," like makes it sound kind of lame when it's like, "Oh, Rita was the top assassin," and then there's just a guy who
Yeah.
mugs people on the street, like, you
By
know what I mean?
comparison, yeah, just saying he's a spinner does like really, yeah, that's you're very very good point. Yeah, he again, yeah, is that kind of thing. He probably is like they don't really go into too much of his backstory. You see a bits of like flashes back, but like it's only a page or two when you do get to it.
Oh, okay.
And like you do get a bit more of it when it comes through. I think like out of the 2 characters that I've seen that have been introduced since the series started, in the 10 chapters, there's obviously Doug,
Hmm.
and then there's another character called Hannah, who is
Okay.
like she uses bombs as a like
Okay.
so she's also an assassin as well. So
We have a
that's
Goku
how she
Dara type. If you get the reference, you get the reference.
it is. I mean, it is definitely a Gokudera type. It's like not so much dynamite, more grenades.
Well, I mean,
So
explosive hand
I mean,
device.
it's supposed to. I mean, it's very close. That's it. It's very close, and it in some ways it does kind of give off like early Hitman Reborn like vibes, but I think early Hitman Reborn, not a lot of people got into that. I think it was the later Hitman
Oh,
Reborn that
fair.
people really got into. I liked all of it. I didn't mind the comedy stuff from Hitman Reborn,
I mean, we
but
don't need to get into that again.
yeah, I feel like that's like a monthly occurrence for us at
Yeah, I
least.
know, innit?
But yeah, no, like the 10 chapters I've read so far, really good. If I was gonna have any gripes about it, any negatives, I'd say chapter 1 really does feel like chapter 2. I don't know if you felt the same way.
Yes, but I think it's because it's basically the same thing basically happens. Because in chapter 1, you're introduced to an assassin. He's supposed to go into the school and take out a kid, and then Rita stops him. Rita falls in love, goes through why she likes him. The same thing in chapter 2, but now the guy looks almost the same as the guy from chapter 1, but now he's
Yeah.
blonde. And
Yeah,
like
it
she
really
asks him
happens.
a random question, and she asked the first guy a bunch of random questions. And it also doesn't help that in chapter 2, it does say, "Oh, that hot guy from yesterday." So like she literally, this is a daily occurrence, and as the reader, chapter 1 and 2 is a day apart in world.
Yeah. Yeah. It is really literally like back to back. Like it really does hammer home that character's trope in that sense. Uh yeah, but that's the only thing cuz I think if I was reading this week to week, I'm actually pretty sure that the first few chapters uploaded on Shueisha quite closely but close as well. Yeah, so
Probably, yeah.
actually chapters 1, 2 and 3 all released on the same day on
Oh, okay.
Manga Plus. So and it is worth mentioning as well that after that, the next 3 chapters released in the same day, and then the next 3 chapters after that.
Oh, is it
Uh,
releasing? Oh,
so it's the release schedule is really interesting considering like each chapter is roughly about like 33 pages, I think, or like a little
wow,
bit less, like
I
maybe
don't
just
remember, to be
under
fair.
30. That's what like chapter 10, for example, is 21 pages. Okay, so it's
Okay,
a
so
little
that's
bit
standard.
that's average length, yeah. But like it's worth mentioning that a lot of these chapters they get released on the same day. Like 2 or 3 chapters get released on one day on Shueisha Plus, and they are all free to read as well. This is one thing. So like this manga got released on Shueisha Plus May 10th, right?
Yeah.
So it's been a few months at least, and all the chapters are all free to read, and you can go back and reread them as well.
That's interesting. That's not happened on anything else that I
It
know of.
hasn't, not that I know of either. This is in Shonen Jump Plus as well in the actual,
Yeah.
like, bear in mind, yeah, so okay, maybe this is a little different. Obviously, it got published in Jump Plus,
No, but other Jump Plus
September 22nd.
series like haven't been like that either though. I've read some other Jump Plus series and it's not the release schedule is not the same, like couple of chapters at a chunk.
Mm,
It's like one
yeah.
every maybe fortnight or something. And then it's no there it still follows the rest of the app where, like first three chapters, latest three chapters are what you can read for free.
I can only assume that the app is like kind of catching up, but like, and it's doing it on a weekly basis as well. This is like a week apart where they're like dumping through the
Maybe
two
this has got
chapters
a
at a time.
different agreement or something. Maybe there's something going on in the background that we just don't know about and won't know about. So
This is the one thing as well. Like certain, I don't think they do it so much these days, because I think all the chapters in Weekly Jump are now translated,
yeah,
all across all series as well. But like Weekly Jump, to the Shueisha Plus app, they never used to translate all of the series. Like it would
yeah,
be
that's
like
true.
like when it first started, there was like about five or so that they just didn't translate. So it could be that kind of case where it's like they just didn't think it would do that well, or didn't have the resource to translate it at the time. But
Yeah,
now they're like, oh, we have the resource to do it now. Let's actually translate this all now. So I don't know what the crack is with it, but we're getting like a lot of chapters at the same. And but you're right, it still comes back to why are they all free to read? Like, why is this series different from the rest?
don't know. Again, I think maybe it's just a different agreement or something because it was originally published in Jump Plus like 15th of September 2022, and it didn't start getting translated and put on the app until May 10th. You said, right?
Yeah.
And by this point, when I was getting notes, like doing research, there were 4 volumes out. So maybe it is
Oh,
just that they're just catching up. Maybe they are just translating the bulk of whatever's out there, and they're just like, there you go.
is it still going on?
I think
Like, is it
so.
still? Yeah, it's not like over, is it? Like
Yeah, I think
in
it's still
Japan.
ongoing. So I don't know. Like
Yeah,
maybe this is just a one outlier for whatever
that is
reason. Like
mad. I'm curious. Like, that's a very like it's a very strange way because like, well, it's so different compared to what we've seen in the
yeah,
past with the Shueisha Plus app. It's so, like it's hard to tell what is actually going on with it. So I have no clue, and it's usually it's like, oh yeah, this makes sense. This could be this. This means this, and it's like it's I have no clue why
yeah.
this is
I
being
mean, this
published
is
like this.
like
But
the weirdest outlier. Like we're not on the app
yeah,
all the time, but like we've been
we
on
know
the app
we know
for a
its
while.
patterns a
Yeah,
lot. Yeah, we know like majority of series how they get released and what patterns they are. Like
yeah,
Weekly Jump gets released every week most of the time, apart from like holidays. But this is different. I don't know why.
yeah. And most Jump Pluses are normally like one every fortnight or maybe once a month or something.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
some can go weekly, but a lot of the time they don't. And the vast majority of stuff is not completely free forever.
Yeah.
And I don't I
That's
forever
that's the
in
biggest thing.
quotes, like, I don't
Yeah.
wanna make it sound like, "Oh, in perpetuity because I know something." Right? No, no, I'm not saying that, but
No, but, like, that's one thing, it could change further down the line as well.
yeah,
Like, while all of those chapters are free to read right now and can be reread, that might be different in about 2 or 3 weeks' time. It could be, like, the same in a year's time,
yeah.
who knows?
Heck, it
Um
could change tomorrow
Yeah,
for all we
so
know, you know?
so that this is the situation right now. It's like the fact that you are able to reread these, right? That's the biggest thing for me. Like, I'm not too fussed that it gets like two or three chapters released each week. I think like that's a good thing, if
Yeah,
anything.
I
I
quite
think
like that.
and yeah, I just find it strange that all these are available to reread. Like, why is this a thing for this series and not for like your bigger ones as well? Maybe it's because the bigger ones, obviously, they want people to pay for that kind of
Yeah,
thing. This to them just doesn't feel like maybe it was a priority. Like if it only is getting translated in May when it was out pretty much a year ago, like this doesn't feel like it must have been a priority for
maybe.
Shueisha.
Who knows? Maybe this is just them being generous, they're like, "Ah,
Yeah,
you know what?
it could
Here,
be a
have a free series. Whatever.
yeah.
We got all
We have
this big stuff. We got this. We got just have a free series."
yeah. It's just yeah, they clearly must have just found the resource to do it now and just had like, well, what do you want to do? Do you want to translate this? Yeah, go on
Yeah,
then. Apparently, that could just be it. Who knows? But regardless, going back to the series as well, it's one I do what kind of want to finish,
yeah, same.
or get up
I
to
will
date on at
actually read
least.
more.
Yeah, it's a really fun read. I don't think it's like if I was going to compare this to something like again, I'm always going to be comparing this to Sakamoto Days right now.
It is the closest one, especially because it's two assassin things in a weird
Yeah.
setting, like
Yeah, and
unconventional
it's
setting for it. So
I think they draw very similar, like, well, story plots as well. But yeah, I want to keep up to date with it. I feel like if I were to recommend like out of the two, like Sakamoto Days is obviously the bigger series, but that
yeah,
isn't to discredit this whatsoever. It's like if you read Sakamoto Days, you're like, oh, I want more something similar. I want more of this. This is a great way to follow that series up. I feel like this is like a great way to be. Oh, here's another series which I'll enjoy. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
I think I think you're right. I think the word or the phrase I'm looking for, it's not quite right, but like, almost like a companion piece kind of thing. You know, like
Yeah.
Sakamoto Days is like the main thing, and then you're like, I want something similar, but maybe not exactly the same. And it's like, oh, what about this? And it's like, oh yeah, okay, cool, cool, that's
It's
pretty
it's
good.
like it's like when like Netflix recommends you series like, "Oh, if you like this,
Yeah,
you'll also
exactly
like
that. Yeah,
this."
yeah, yeah.
That's the best. Like, it's if you imagine if like the app was just like, "Oh yeah, here's some other manga you'd like." This would be number one if it was after
It should
Sakamoto
be at
Days.
least like this or again, I'll take your word for it because I haven't actually seen or read any. But Spy Family, like
Yeah,
those would be on there. But like, I know exactly what you mean. I would also recommend it if you did like Sakamoto Days. It's like very similar vibes. Maybe this is a
yeah,
little more happy-go-lucky and a little more comedy based than Sakamoto Days,
yeah.
but it by no means makes it any worse than Sakamoto Days.
Mhm.
I think
Yeah,
quality wise, it's like up there. Maybe the artwork in Sakamoto Days is a little more like chaotic for the obvious
yeah.
reasons. Like that series does get more chaotic,
Mhm.
but for what it is, again, I absolutely is like my favorite thing about this. By the way, is the
Yeah,
art. The art style is so good. I absolutely love these like simple facial
yeah.
expressions and like it's the kind of thing like when I'm making stuff for us. Like if I
Mhm.
have to make a culture boy's face, I either use emojis or I imagine these kind of anime, like simple anime faces, like the crying with the like river tears and stuff, like or like the like
Yeah.
blanked out eyes with the stare and just like simple expressions. Like these are the kind of things that I try to emulate because I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah. It hit those basic facial expressions like just really well. Like all those like the run of the mill emotions, it just hits it like, and characters like Rita, they really it really comes through with with that character specifically.
But it's because she's just
Uh
like crazy expressive and she's like 0 or 100. She's the extreme. She's either like super bummed out or she's super happy. So far, I've only seen super happy, but I can imagine from the way she's always upbeat that if she
no.
was to
I
get
mean
pissed off or something, she would just be like
I mean,
100%.
even with like when we see her reacting to like when she's like interrogating her like future boyfriends or
Yeah.
whatever, where she's like, oh, how do you eat your ramen? How do you do this? How do you do this? And then like like the guy is always like, oh, this is easy. I'll just stab her in the back after this next question. And then she asks something, and then he's like, oh, I don't actually like ramen. Then she just shoots him.
Okay.
It's just
See,
like
that one was funny though, because like the ramen was chapter 2, and she's like, oh, yeah, accepting the differences is what makes a relationship work. So if he says noodles, I'll have to accept him even though it's wrong or something like and he's like, "Oh, you eat the meat first," and then she slashes him with the sword. But her response was funny because she went, "That answer surprised me." It wasn't even that she liked or
yeah.
disliked it. She was just like surprised. So she killed him. Like
Is it like the way she kills the first assassin? Is that like is the ramen question also the outlier on that one?
no, for the first one the question that did it was what do you do at the end of the film when the credits are rolling?
That
And
is
he
it, yeah.
said, "I get up and leave." And she killed
Oh,
him.
yeah, yeah, instantly, weren't it? Yeah,
Yeah, and she shot him.
because like the second one was like, oh yeah, eat the meat first or whatever, and
Yeah.
then there's a third killing as well, where another
Ah.
assassin comes around, and his answer is, well, I hate ramen anyway, so it doesn't matter. And
Oh, that's
so,
a hot take.
yeah, so that was especially like yeah, but that's why she kills that guy.
Yeah, she asked
Spoiler
some
alert, I guess.
really random questions.
That is, I mean, just go through it, just straight up kill I guess she does know they're assassins as well, so that
Yeah,
is
but I mean,
like,
like, she's also falling in love and she's trying to ask questions to like build a relationship,
yeah.
quote unquote. But it's still just sort of like you're asking some really random questions, man. Like, I
It
guess
adds more
these
to that character
it
though.
does, but like,
Yeah,
could you imagine you go out on a date and someone's like, "What's the first thing you eat when you get a bowl of ramen?" You'd be like, "Huh? Excuse me? Um,
yeah,
I don't know. I just eat the ramen."
yeah. If that's the deal break, you're like, bro, what?
Like, do you know what I mean? Like, some of these questions, you're
Yeah,
just like, if I go on a date and the person's like, "So what do you do when the credits are rolling?" And I'm like, "It depends on what film it is." Like, but why does
yeah.
that matter? Like, what is this question?
Yeah. It's I think it's one of those ones. I feel like Rita's gonna be one of those characters that like I said before, like the whole like, oh, I need to find my boyfriend kind of
Yeah.
character. Like it's one of those characters I can understand why some people go find it divisive as well. I didn't mind it this in this series, and I don't think it's that like egregious. But I know some people out there really do very hate that trope amongst any
I
character.
mean, I guess it
So
depends on how, and this is just me speaking off of 2 chapters, but I guess it depends on how often and how tropey it gets. Because, like,
yeah.
I can see it getting annoying. Like, for me personally, I don't mind the trope, but I'm not a big fan of it either. And if, for example, Rita's going to turn into like Brock from Pokemon,
Yeah.
then I'm like, okay, I'm out. Like, because that's just too much.
I don't think it is like a Brock thing, but like obviously the thing is with Rita, that's not just her whole character. This
Yeah.
is one thing she does have she does have amazing skills, and obviously like there's like her relationship with Doug. I think is the thing that kind of drives the series as well. Like
Okay.
there's a lot of so you get to see them bonding a bit. Obviously Hannah comes into it as well, so there's a lot of stuff in this series that
Plus,
does
there's that
get factored
bear,
in. Yeah,
whatever
I
that bear
I
teacher
I haven't
is.
got to the bear bit yet, but been in the first chapter promo art, so they obviously got something planned for this bear.
Yep.
I don't know what it is, but it looks like it looks jokes. I want to know more about
I knew
it.
you would. As soon as I saw
Yeah,
like the lineup of teachers, I saw this
yeah,
polar bear or white bear. I was like,
yeah.
that's what is that about? Pepe's definitely gonna love that
Yeah,
character.
it's one of those things like teachers are getting introduced bit by bit, and like so it's like some newer teachers or some teachers that have already been there. But like in the I think it's the third or fourth chapter, they have like like they're having like a teachers meeting in the morning,
Okay.
and the bear is already there. The bear's already in getting up, so he's clearly like been here before Rita has or something like that. And I just want to know why. Like, what does it do? Who's in the bear suit? Is it?
Or is it a
It's a
bear suit?
mystery.
Is it even a
Or
bear suit?
is it a bear? That'd be the biggest twist. It's just
Man, bear, pig.
bad bear.
But yeah, like I don't know, man. I want to know more about the bear. I want to read it more in general. It is quite fun.
Yeah,
Um,
it's
again,
quite an easy read as well. This isn't something where it's like built out of text or anything like that. It's great. Art's great, like you said. It's a very like quick read as well. Like
yeah,
considering like the first chapter was like about 50 to 60 pages. I want to say it might be a little bit less. I can't remember.
I don't
It's
remember, but
quite a
that
long.
sounds pretty standardish though. For like a
Yeah,
first chapter,
it's
like you get quite a lot
yeah.
of pages for your first chapter.
Yeah. So like yeah, it's nothing new to anyone that's like read any like shonen manga before. But like yeah, I don't know how much else I could say about it, but what I will say is that I think I speak for both of us when to say like we recommend this. I'd recommend it.
Oh
I don't
yeah,
know
for
about
sure.
you.
Dude, I
Yeah,
totally
yeah.
would. Like, I really
Yeah.
like this. Like, even if I got bored of this story, I feel like I would check in every now and again
Yeah.
just to see the artwork again.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like it's like this will have like it's starting off with like very minimal amount of characters right now, but like the cast is expanding. It looks like it's gonna be great. So I look forward to like finishing this and reading it, like reading a
So
bit more.
it, eh, it's only 42 chapters as well. So like you're already like quarter of the way there.
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah,
Like,
that and that's like after like I don't know, a few hours as well. So I reckon I could probably get this finished tonight if I really put my mind
yeah,
to it.
probably could. Like, I could probably finish it tonight because I only read 2 chapters 'cause I was a bit sleepy. So
Yeah, yeah.
I read 2 chapters in maybe like, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
and
like
for like first 2 chapters, that's pretty like pretty standard. So, like, I don't reckon it would take that long, to be fair.
Nah. Yeah. But yeah, in that case, guys, we'd recommend Kindergarten Wars. Definitely check it out. It's on the Shrasha Plus app. Again, all the chapters are up there.
Yeah.
So read them all. Thank you for listening, guys. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell button for any other Cultured Boys releases that come out. The links to all our podcast platforms, they're in the description. We're also on Twitter /X or whatever the frick you want to call that.
Just call it Twitter. Let's not even pretend. It's just Twitter.
We'll keep it as Twitter for the moment, just for ease of mind here. But yeah, that's where you can find us. And thank you for listening again, guys. And we will see you next week for another Cultured Boys episode. Bye bye.
Bye.